Don't be too happy to be here, jeez.
How are you feeling?
Ah,
I'm over here.
where are you at? Raise your, oh, there you go. I'm doing all right. Tony Gravy's really tough. I thought, with the first couple of kicks I landed to the stomach in the first round, I thought, oh, okay, this is gonna be like a second round fight. I thought I was gonna be able to take him out, but that dude is tough, and I wish him the best in fatherhood, because I know he's having a baby soon. I knew he had something to fight for. It's no longer about, even though I'm not expecting a child, I understand that when people have children, they fight for something more than themselves. So I had to really kick it into another gear in order to make sure I stay in his face and do my thing.
Is it harder to fight somebody like that you know has that story, or would you rather fight somebody that you kind of have a beef with?
Yeah, to me, this is martial arts. The hate side of things is not involved. I knew that like I said, he was going to be fighting for a purpose beyond him. And a lot of us, whether it be religion or, family or anything that you hold in high esteem, you're going to be fighting to the best of your ability, plus and some, because of that. So, fighting guys like fathers, fighting guys with purpose, fighting guys like who talk themselves into a corner. Mixed martial arts is a great avenue to achieve a greatness and to build a life for yourself. Unfortunately, somebody has to leave a loser, and I don't want to leave the loser.
Did you expect to have to go 3 rounds with him, or I know you said you kind of thought you'd get in and out of there, but your game plan going in was that you thought you'd have to expect this 3-round war?
I mean, absolutely. You have to prepare for the worst. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst. 3 rounds is not exactly what I want to do. We're not paid for a long time. We're paid for a good time. So like I said, I thought I was gonna be able to get him out of there in the second, just with those, straight punts to the guts. But it only goes to show the quality of his heart, his character, and his training camp. That he would be able to go out there and just go 3 rounds with somebody like me trying to be in his face the entire time, and him whiffing big punches and me barely getting out of the way of it. I got out of the way of most. A couple of them they got me. They didn't rock me, but they moved me out of position. So, Gravely's a tough dude. I'm glad to go out there and test my will against his and get the W.
How confident were you when the scores were starting to be read?
I'm never confident in others. It sucks to say, but my coach is right that you can never really trust somebody who's going to do the exact right thing all the time. The only way to guarantee the outcome is by taking it with your own hands. So when you leave it into somebody else's play, then you get what you get.
Did you feel a little bit of pressure coming off a loss and having to go back in there and prove yourself again?
There's always pressure, whether it's coming off a big win and people are expecting you to go out there and do your thing, or you come off a loss and people just think that you're trash. There's always pressure. Every fight is the biggest fight. So coming off that last loss against the Sun Sal, I had to do some recalibrating of my own and remind myself that all of us are mortal. None of us are immortal. So maybe immoral, but not immortal. But go out there and do your best and train to the best of your ability and go out there and secure your dub.
What did you think of the venue? New place for the UFC? What did you think of the fans, the process, everything?
The fans are always going to be the fans. Like they love you one second, and then the next second they're in your DMs telling you how much of a trash human being you are, whether because you like cars or you like your hair a certain way. I mean, after my last fight, I got so much hate because of people thinking your hair is stupid, or your nose is dumb, or they lost their parlay. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. As far as the venue, I never really paid attention to what the venue was, what the promotion is. I mean, there's one constant in every fight, and it's that somebody's going to try and knock your mouth in. The media changes, the attendance changes, the opponent changes. Everything always changes, except for the one thing that somebody's trying to knock you out or choke you unconscious. Those are the 2 things that are always going to be the same.
So back to those DMs, how do you kind of push that aside? How do you not feed into it? What's the mindset when you read those?
Oh, I don't push it aside at all. I lean into it. I show my teammates, I show my coaches, I look at this person, he thinks my hair stinks. Or look at this person, man, this person's going off. I remember one fight I was going to have, and they had such terrible English, but they were trying to insult me, and I was like, this is actually pretty freaking hilarious. I'm one of those guys that nothing's pretty much off the table when it comes to jokes. So, give me your worst. I'm probably going to laugh at it. And if it's good enough, then I'm probably going to use it. When I first joined the UFC, somebody called me Combat Kenny G, and I thought that was great because, and everybody kind of says the same thing, and I can kind of tell, I was like, this person's not that funny. They're like, knock off Clay Guida. Why? Just because I got hair? We don't even look the same. But Combat Kenny G, that was funny. And whoever said that, you're a genius. That was funny.
And my last question, when do you want to get back in there?
As soon as, the first time I got called to the UFC, I was eating Korean barbecue. So I'm going to go out, come this next week, I'm going to get some barbecue. And if somebody needs a last-minute opponent, I'm uninjured. And I think my cardio is pretty good looking at that last fight. So I'm really going to get back in there whenever the UFC wants me.
Thank you.
You got it.
Hey, Victor.
What's up, dude?
What was the biggest thing you took from that Rafael Assunção fight?
The biggest thing I took from that Assunção fight, probably a cut under my left eye. He punched me a few times after he caught that kick. And, a guy like Assunção, where he has such a great way of pulling you into his game. He did the same thing to TJ Dillashaw. He did the same thing to Funkmaster. He pulls you into his game, and it kind of rattles you off. So going into this fight, I had to be sure to not pull away from my game just because of what somebody else is doing. You have to reset, find your way back into your game plan. And Assunção is he's fighting tonight, and I hope him the best. But that's something that you can learn from those experienced guys. He's 40 years old, but he can still put a whooping on people.
Was there any point in the fight where Josh told you that fucking sucks, do it again?
Not this fight. But Josh's corner advice is, he's always straight and cut, to the point. There's no roundabout ways of getting anything. And if he's not cussing at you in the corner, then that means that you're probably doing all right, because Josh will let you know, hey, you're fighting like absolute dog crap right now. You better do better. And there's pressure that comes with that. It's not all fighters that have a ex-UFC champion, somebody who's done street fights and look for fights on Craigslist just to get started. There's a lot of fighters. They come to the UFC after 7 fights. I've had fights where you're out of the country. Nobody likes you. You're looking to lose. They're looking to make you lose. And Josh goes, you better get in this dude's face, and you better just that kind of. It's only white people do this, but they thin their lips and they start talking like that. Usually it's the Mexican moms. Hey, te voy a ver.
And finally for me, how long does it take to braid your hair?
Actually, the UFC braid lady is actually pretty, she's got this down pat. This only took maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's going to take me about an hour and a half to get out because, I like my hair curly. I like my hair out. Having it tamed back like this is very against my nature. And, I want to get this thing out of my head as soon as possible.
Congrats, man.
Thank you very much.
Victor,
what's up, dude?
You going to walk out to Kenny G next time for us? I'm
sure.
messing with you.
Hey, sure, man. You look like Ivan Drago. What you want me to go? What you want me to do?
Take your coach's advice, and he'll probably have you walk out to some death metal.
Oh, yeah. Then I was actually thinking about walking out to Gaveller Attack this time, or Exodus. But I wanted to keep it with the Gohor because those are some cool guys.
I'm sure Josh can get behind some Exodus for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna walk out to funeral him. Yeah.
I like your style, Vic.
Thanks, man.
You touched on this a little bit, but were you surprised by his toughness in there, man? Because there was a couple times I thought you were going to put him away, and he just kept, he didn't exactly stand for you shot for shot, but he hung in there a lot more than most people would, I think.
Yeah, that dude has definitely been doing his sit-ups. Did you guys see his abs? Jesus. I kept putting my front kick right in his gut, and I can tell they hit. He's got a good amount of chin hair. He's got a nice beard, and I could just see that thing kind of moving, like, doing one of those every time I kicked him in the gut. But the dude stood there over and over as I kicked him in the gut over and over again. So, like I said, he's a tough dude, and, that dude's going to be sore for a little bit, but he didn't drop. So I guess no bonus for me on that one. But it is what it is. But Gravely, he's an awesome dude. He was humble at the end, and that's really what this is all about. We both went out there, we both fought our butts off. And only one of us could come away with the win, but we push each other to be better every time we go out there and we fight.
I thought it was a pretty clear decision from my vantage point, watching others in the back. But from your perspective, when you're in there and you hear one of the judges call it for him, what's going through your mind at that moment?
That he probably visited the bar in the back, because clearly someone was drinking some Jack and Coke. But like my coach says, like the only way to guarantee the outcome is to take it for in your own fashion. Go out there, knock somebody out, choke somebody. There was no leaving it to the judges. But sometimes you have it in you to put to take somebody out, and sometimes you're just tired, and sometimes you just can't because the other dude is just too durable. It is what it is. But when it does go to the judges, you can never really count on somebody else to do the right thing, or the correct thing. They may not be malicious in trying to give you the other guy the nod, but it just because you just never tell. I mean, I've had fights where a guy took my back for 2 seconds and I flipped him off. Not flipped him off, but I got him off, and then he ends up winning a split because he took my back for 2 seconds. Didn't do anything with it, but he took my back for 2 seconds. As soon as he took my back, I stood up, peeled him off, started beating the crap out of him, and I lost a split decision because of that. So, when you're dealing with those kinds of judges, when we don't have we have a supposed set of rules, octagon control, volume of punches or ground control time. We have these parameters that we're supposed to look at, but some judges come from a jiu-jitsu background where they're like, oh, he had side control for 3 seconds and didn't really do anything. And then the guy gets up and then mollywops the crap out of some dude. Oh, but he had side control for 2 seconds. That was more control. So whenever these fights go to decisions, what are they looking at? Are they looking at the damage output? Are they looking at the control time? Who knows? Because these a lot of times judges don't have there's no repercussion to them messing up. So it is what it is. Thank you very much, guys. Take it easy.